Next, I want to talk about co-mentoring and exactly what that means. So to begin, I want to think about what co-mentoring is not. And co-mentoring is not lecturing, it is not split teaching, it is not one-on-one tutoring. In lecturing, it's usually the teacher giving information, speaking to the students, and there's not too much room for the students to speak back or give information. Maybe they can ask questions, but it's not about necessarily giving too much information to the teacher. Co-mentoring is not one-on-one tutoring. So as a math tutor myself, when I do one-on-one tutoring, it's a little bit more interactive for everyone. So I can talk to the student and the student can talk to me, and it's really easy because I only have to worry about one single student. So we can have a conversation, we can have a discussion, and it's really easy to conduct or facilitate. I don't have to worry about other students talking, and I know that when I'm talking to somebody one-on-one, it's more likely that I have their attention. Now, when I'm talking to a larger group, and maybe I'm doing it with another teacher, so we would call that split teaching. It's a little bit more difficult to have everyone engaged. It's more difficult to hear everybody's voices. And in split teaching, usually you divide up the work. So one teacher will maybe teach for the first 25 minutes of class, and then the other teacher will do the last 25, or you can go back and forth. But it's one teacher talking to the students at one point, and then they switch off to the other teacher. With co-teaching or co-mentoring, you are not only talking to the students, but you're also talking with the other teacher, and you're adding on to what they're saying. You're not listening to just the students, you're also listening to your fellow teacher, mentor. The students are not listening to just one teacher, they're listening to both of you, and it just creates a little bit more, I'll say it chaos, but it also makes for some really fun discussions. Now, if we combine co-mentoring or co-teaching with these culturally responsive practices, like, for example, student voice or access, which we'll talk about in the third video, then you get this really, really cool flow of conversation where it's also among the students. So students talk to each other, let's say in groups, then they talk to the teacher talks to the other teacher talks to the students back, and it's just this huge flow of conversation. And like I mentioned before, it can be a little bit chaotic, but with some practice, I think you'll get the hang of it. And nothing's ever going to go perfectly, but we can always try to improve. We can always try to amplify certain voices. We can always try to make sure that the knowledge and the learning and the experience is more accessible to students.